Over the past couple weeks, while all the noise was taking place about the illegal kidnapping of immigrants, the billionaire's beneficiary bill, the Epstein files, alligator Alcatraz, and so much more that they were just flooding us with, trying to confuse us and distract us. Well, this story took place with hardly a squeak from the media. I happened to notice it. My name is Kurt Mullet. I'm Hoosier Blue, and I have something to say. Let's get at it. So, Navy Federal Credit Union will no longer have to refund $80 million to servicemen and women for illegally charging them overdraft fees on their accounts. After the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, moved to dismiss the consent order on July 1st. Under the initial settlement, Navy Federal Credit Union agreed to pay a $15 million fine to the CFPB and refund $80 million in illegally paid overdraft fees to members of their credit union. Now, at that time, Navy Federal said in a statement, "We fully cooperated with the CFPB's investigation, and we will continue to comply with all applicable laws and regulations, just as we always have and as we believe we did here." Now, the CFPB has given little reason for withdrawing the consent order. The CFPB has also withdrawn roughly half a dozen consent orders and ended other settlements that were previously reached with other financial services corporations within the United States. Navy Federal Credit Union consented to have this order withdrawn. Really? In a statement, Navy Federal Credit Union defended its use of overdraft fees and supported the CFPB's decision. Their official press release stated, "Navy Federal's commitment to prioritize and protect our members is core to who we are. Our overdraft program allows our members to make necessary everyday purchases without going into long-term debt or turning to payday lenders." I'm not sure how an overdraft fee protects that. They continued with their statement, saying Navy Federal Credit Union complied with all applicable laws and regulations at the time and continues to do so. "We firmly believe the CFPB's decision to terminate the order was appropriate." Of course they feel this way. They just saved themselves $95 million. Navy Federal Credit Union is by far the largest credit union in the country, with roughly 14 million members and about $180 billion in assets. If Navy Federal Credit Union were considered a traditional bank, it would be the 24th largest bank in the country by assets. The CFPB has narrowed its mission and scope. It has also previously said that financial issues for servicemen and women remain a priority for the Bureau. Yeah, bullshit. You just screwed servicemen and women across our country out of $80 million. Tell us another one, will you? It's unbelievable what these people say and the lies they tell, and they expect us to just swallow it and believe it. Of course, MAGA does. But those of us who read books, we're not going to fall for it. Now, of course, the CFPB did not immediately respond to a request or comment, nor did they release a statement concerning this matter. Shocking. The dismissal of this ruling is just the latest example of how this fascist administration and another agency under the felon's direction continues down the path of destruction by undoing much of the work that was accomplished under President Joe Biden. Even in cases where the bad actors, Navy Federal Credit Union, agreed to the terms of retribution and compensation to their victims. And it seems like their destruction is especially harsh when it comes to policies and agencies and funding that had been set in place to take care of our military, our veterans, and those currently enlisted. You know, the protectors of our democracy. The fascist felon claims to love our veterans and has stated on numerous occasions, I've done more for our veterans than any other president in our history. Yeah, you are right about that, you fascist pig. You have done more harm to our veterans than any president has ever done in our history. I have learned that every time he makes a claim or statement like what I just shared with you, the truth is actually the opposite of what he says. He is so freaking predictable. Now, are you wondering who is the head of the CFPB? Or maybe you already know. Well, it is none other than Russ Vought. Yes, Russ Vought, one of the main architects and players in the creation of the Heritage Foundation's Mandate for Leadership and Project 2025. That Russ Vought. The Russ Vought, who has been quoted as saying he intends to cause trauma and fear amongst federal bureaucrats who he believes are undermining the government's effectiveness. That Russ Vought. The Russ Vought who believes in an ideology that he calls radical constitutionalism, which is basically an assertion of power by the executive branch to retake the reins from unelected bureaucrats. That is a direct quote from the text of Project 2025. And there's that word again, bureaucrat. These fascists just love to use it. Now, by its true definition, do you know who is an actual bureaucrat? Elon Musk. Yeah, old Elon. But we'll save him for another podcast. The Russ Vought, who believes in the unitary executive theory, meaning giving the president authority over all government agencies and eventually over all three branches that govern our democracy, that were created with the guidelines of our Constitution by our founding fathers, who believed at the time that they were establishing a form of government, a check and balance form of government that would prevent this type of power grab to ever take place in our republic. You know, a monarchy, a king, the very reason the Revolutionary War took place, and the very reason that the No Kings movement has taken hold in our country. These authored beliefs of Russ Vought are contained within the contribution that he made to Project 2025. These are his exact words. The Russ Vought, who brought us this little gem right here.
Two undercover reporters posing as donors are about to meet one of the key architects of Project 2025, the radical plan for Trump's second term, in a hotel suite rigged with hidden cameras.
Nice to meet you. Would you like coffee or something? I'd love coffee, yeah. Great.
Meet Russ Vought.
Russell Vought, the former director of the Office of Management and Budget.
He's been called the most dangerous MAGA diehard you've never heard of.
I am opposed to the Department of Education because I think it's the Department of Critical Race Theory.
The Russ Vought were comrades in arms.
Formerly a cabinet member and chief lieutenant in the first Trump admin,
I want to thank Russ for doing an incredible job.
he now runs a group called Center for Renewing America.
An organization that I helped turn into the Death Star that is accomplishing all the debates that you are reading about. I think you have to rehabilitate Christian nationalism. You have the largest deportation in history, block funding for Planned Parenthood. I want to be the person that crushes the deep state.
Vogt is one of the key authors of the blueprint for a second Trump administration.
Project 2025.
It's an ambitious 920-page blueprint.
Like eliminating the Department of Education,
the mass firings of civil servants,
banning access to the abortion pill, and further restricting abortion rights.
In recent weeks, the plans have become so controversial that Trump has been forced to distance himself.
They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right. And they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25.
Are you ready? I know nothing about Project 25. I haven't seen the document. I don't intend to really see the document.
But behind closed doors, Vogt tells us not to take Trump's disavowal seriously.
I expect you to hear 10 more times from the rally, the president, distancing himself from the left's boogeyman of Project 2025.
Yeah. And you're not worried about that?
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
He's running against a brand. He is not running against any people.
Okay.
He is not running against any institutions. It's interesting. He's in fact not even opposing himself to a particular policy. Yeah. He's been at our organization. He's raised money for our organization. He's blessed it from the, I remember walking into our last day in office and told him what I was going to do. So he's very supportive of what we do.
If you would like to view this program from Democracy Now! That contains the entirety of this hidden camera footage, I will provide the link below so you can do that. Yes, that Russ Vought. The Russ Vought who thinks wokeism is a mental disorder and the demise of the youth in our country. He is a proud, self-proclaimed Christian nationalist, which we all know the admission behind that claim is one of, I am a white supremacist. That Russ Vought. We now have reached the segment of my podcast that I like to call the fascist of the day. And today, my choice for fascist of the day, yes, you guessed it, Russ Vought. A true example of a fascist and one who has the beliefs of a fascist who is rooted deeply into white nationalism and white superiority, a fascist who has made it perfectly clear his hostility towards women, their reproductive rights, towards gender-affirming care, gender and racial equality and equity, rights of the LGBTQ+ community, and the rights of immigrants entering our country. Russ Vought, a true fascist in every sense of the word. Now, before I leave you, I would like to share another example of the incompetence of the appointees made across the board by the fascist felon, especially when it comes to those who are directly connected to our veterans.
24B. Not medical care, medical services. So here's your, okay. Just to be clear, I mean, the chairman mentioned this, we usually get,
I understand completely.
Specifies how many folks you intend to employ. We have a 26-page PowerPoint, but in that 26-page PowerPoint, here are specified about $17 billion in cuts to the medical services budget. So what are you cutting in medical services? Specifically, who are you cutting, since that's exclusively personnel?
Again, and this is the issue that we have right now, and I'll just state this for either of us to go back in circles. We'll be providing more of those numbers, as I said yesterday on our phone call this week. So at this point in time, the numbers that we're providing are the numbers that we have at this point. I'll be happy to talk to you further about those later.
And understand that's why we usually get these in advance of this hearing. I mean, I'm wondering if we need to reconvene having received the full budget request, because the thing that is causing a lot of consternation is this proposed $18 billion cut to medical services. I mean, and so today is the budget hearing where you justify the budget request. So how do you justify this cut to medical services, and who are you going to fire in order to pay for it?
And I'll go back to the same answer I gave you just a few minutes ago. I mean, in this process, we'll have the more information on that part of it as we go forward. The basis of the budget was based on our workforce as it existed and moving forward, and the numbers have not been cut to the medical
I'm sorry, yes,
the care budget.
You have in your PowerPoint here $17 to $18 billion in cuts to medical services. Again, this is a 26-page PowerPoint to justify the budget. So, and this is the budget hearing. So who's getting fired? I don't know, Mr. Chairman, if we need to reconvene after they send us the materials, but I think this is insufficient. Clearly, and I'll follow up in my next round. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I want to thank you for watching this podcast. I truly appreciate your support and in joining me in the fight to save our democracy against those who want to burn down our Constitution and literally strip us of our freedoms and destroy the way of life that so many of us do not take for granted. Please hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Tell your family and friends and your coworkers about me and my podcast. My name is Kurt Mullet. I am Hoosier Blue, and I have something to say. Catch you on the other side.